Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another wild and crazy episode of Kayfabe Corner. I'm your host today, sensational Sean Bryant, and my co-host, Pretty Boy Doug Masters, apparently got kidnapped by a couple of lesbians and dragged into the forest somewhere and tied to a tree because he is MIA. So without further ado, one of the greats of back in the 80s when I was used to watching, I grew up watching Global and World Class and a lot of the old school down there, a lot of the Southern, because you didn't have much other than Portland up here. And one of the greatest tag teams back in the day was John Tatum and Rod Price, Rod Price. And today we got Rod's kid, the Outlaw, Mr.
Manson. Brody Manson, the Outlaw, Brody Manson. What's going on, man? How the hell you doing tonight? That's okay, man. I've been hitting that gimmick. I've been hitting that gimmick stick, man. I'm right there with you, feeling good on a damn Saturday night, man. Ready to get this damn thing done. Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Right on. So, what got you? Obviously, growing up in the business probably got you enthralled into it. What was the biggest selling point for you to want to become a wrestler?
Strippers. No, I'm just kidding, man. Growing up in the business, man. I've been in this since I was a kid, man. Watching my dad and Global in Texas and the Sportatorium and all that, man. And it was second nature, man. I always had this, fantasy or, about becoming a pro wrestler because I watched my dad, but man, I was a skinny little guy. And for a long time, I played in rock and roll bands, man. Long hair, man. I was pretty, I looked like a chick. I was a hair man guy, I was, tried that for a long time and, played guitar, sang and everything, but I always loved wrestling, loved watching. I was a huge fan of it. And, especially because of my dad, but even I would watch programs that my dad wouldn't even own. I loved it. It wasn't just that I loved it because my dad was doing it, but I loved it, loved it because I loved wrestling. And, hell, man, I must have been about maybe 21. And I wasn't making no money being a bar star. I wasn't making a damn thing, starving, I was I was 160 pounds, 6'4". The hell, I've been 6'4" since I was in kindergarten, but hell, about 160 pounds. And I called my dad on the phone one day and I said, Pop, this music thing ain't working out. I ain't making no money. I don't want to be, I've been doing this since I was damn 17. And here I am, 21, 22. And I said, it ain't cutting it. I was smart enough to realize I ain't making no money doing this, And I love wrestling. And I called my dad and we just kind of was talking. I said, look, what would you think about me wanting to get in the business? He said, what? And I said, then, in the wrestling business, he said, doing what? I said, well, being a wrestler. He said, son, he's my dad's son. I thought, what? He said, son, he said, it's a different. Yeah, he says, a different lifestyle, son. You haven't, it's not what it's a lot different from the music business and this and that. And I was persistent, and I really, I said, Dad, I want to do this. I'll pop on to give it, this and that. And he said, well, I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. He said, you got to move to Louisiana. You had a training school down there. And I said, all right. He said, I can't, train you over the phone. You got to come down here and move. So, man, I sold everything I had. What I couldn't sell, I packed up in a damn U-Haul gimmick and came down to New Orleans and got a place to stay and got a job and everything. And he had a wrestling school out past Baton Rouge. There's about a damn 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive one way from, city of New Orleans to his wrestling school, And I got down there, and man, you talk about piss poor shape. Dear God, that's pathetic. Hell, I ain't seen the, I was a rock and roller, man. It was, party all night, sleep all day, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, And I go into this, first of all, it's 150 damn degrees, and he had a a building outside of a gym, right out the back of a gym. It was like this big, huge metal building, man. This thing was made out of damn metal. It had one big old fan in there, one of the big industrial fans. And that was it, man. And this, I mean, you know, the humidity in Louisiana. Oh, dear God, man, it's about 110 degrees. And here I am, man. You know, I'm a cigarette smoking, you know, Jack Daniels drinking, you know, smoking some bitch. And, you know, and I'm like, I get in there, man, I was damn near puked. I couldn't hit, I mean, I was god awful horrible, you know. And my dad said, he called me in the office. Hell, I've been there about 2 weeks. And I'd show up, man, and I was dedicated, though, because I lived in New Orleans. And like I said, I'd work, here's what I had to do, and this is what kids today ain't missing. If you ain't got the passion for it, and you ain't got the heart for it, if you don't want this, and it's just something you're trying to do to get rich or get women or make a dollar, stay the hell out of my damn business. You know, because I used to drive, too. I'd get to work. I worked at a nightclub. I was a bouncer. Because I've always been a scrappy son of a bitch. I mean, you know, I've always been a, you know, brawler fighter. I've, you know, wrestled in, you know, high school. I've always, you know, had a, you know, a combat background, you might say. And, hell, man, I'd get up, I'd go to work at 8 o'clock at night. And I wouldn't get off 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd go home, and hell, I'd get about maybe 4 hours sleep. Get up, drive all the way to damn out past Baton Rouge, 2.5 hours one way. Get in the ring, bust my ass for about 4, sometimes maybe 5 hours in there. Get back in the car, drive all the way back to New Orleans, take a shower, go to work, and do the whole damn gimmick again. I did this every week, every weekend. I'd leave, you know, Saturday morning bright and early after getting a nap, wrestle, come back, go to work, get up after another 4-hour nap, go down the train, come back again, get up and do it again. Man, I did this for damn near a year, you know? And by the second week I was down there, man, my dad called me now. He said, you know, oh, hell, here we go, you know? He said, how do you think you're doing? I said, well, you know, I'm learning, I'm getting there, I'm doing this, and all this, you know, all this bullshit I'm trying to get working, you know? He looked at me and he said, okay, son, now that we got all that out of the way, how you really think you're doing? Jesus, Dad, I suck. You know, he said, you know, my dad, he's a big fucking crowbar. Yeah, son, you kind of do, you know. And I was like, oh, God. And he said, you know, maybe you need to be an announcer, a referee. I said, man, I felt like I had failed at the music gimmick, you know, because I didn't become a rock star or whatever. And I said, you know, Pop, I can't fail at this. I can't do it again. You know, I got to succeed. And he said, son, you know, I mean, you get the start and you know, your lifestyle ain't athletic. And, you know, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this, you know. And I begged him. I said, please, Pop, I can't fail again. You know, in my mind, you know, I didn't succeed in music, so I had to make it in wrestling, you know. And he sat me down. He said, all right, well, if you're going to do this, he said, and he goes, I'll never forget this. He said, things are going to change right now. And I said, okay. And he said, well, cigarettes you smoke are a thing of the past. He said, I see you out there hot boxing one every time we have a break or something. He said, you quit. Those are a thing of the past. I said, okay. He said, you got to get your cardio up. And he said, I don't mean wean down and I don't mean cut down. I mean, you quit right now cold turkey. And I said, God, son of a bitch, you know, but I wanted this. And I said, oh, okay, you know, can I finish this pack? I just bought the damn gimmick. But no, you got to quit right then. And I said, okay. He said, that's not all. I said, oh, hell. He said, you got to quit drinking. You got to start working out. You got to get on a diet plan. You got to put on some muscle. You got to do this and that. And he said, I mean, you stop everything right now. He said, I know you smoke cigarettes. He said, I'm probably, you know, pretty damn sure you gimmick. And I said, yeah, I gimmick. And he said, I'm pretty sure you drink. And I do that. And he said, it all stops right now, cold turkey. I mean, you don't touch a drop of alcohol. You don't smoke that gimmick. You don't eat a double cheeseburger. Now it's, you know, grilled chicken and push-ups. And I mean, you know, getting up 6 o'clock in the morning to go work out. And I said, oh, okay, all right. And, man, brother, let me tell you, when you go from a rock and roll lifestyle into trying to be a professional athlete, it's like Marine damn boot camp, you know. And my dad was not you might be shocked to hear this, he wasn't exactly a coddling kind of dad. You know, he was just as stiff as me as he was with anybody. He's a natural heel, man. Damn, he can't help it, you know. And so I go down there, man, I'm in the wrestling school, man, I'm busting my ass, and I mean, I'm puking and, you know, climbing back in the ring and this and that. And I've been there about a month now. And my dad said, all right, guys, you know, we're going to pair up, and we just going to have a workout partner, you know, do the drills with, exercises with, you know, learning the wrestling with and all that. And he said, they're like, all right, you're with him, you're with her, blah, blah, blah. Gets to me, and he said, son, your workout partner going forward is Rodney Mack. And I went, son of a bitch. I mean, you've seen Rodney, Red Dog, Rodney Mack, Jazz is his wife from ECW and WWE and all that. That goddamn Rodney was 6'4", back then, 265, 75, shredded. And I'm just skinny damn long. And Rodney's a damn crowbar anyway. I love him. He's my family, but goddamn, he's different mess, And I said, oh, hell. And I mean, I took suplex day, powerbomb day. I mean, good God. He just beat my ass, And that's how it all got started, man. I just, going down there and saying, man, I want to do this. And I fell in love with it, man. I come home black and blue, my sides, my rib cage purple from hitting the ropes. And man, back then it was different, man. Wasn't nobody wearing no headgear or taking, falling down on a damn crash pad, brother. It was a stiff-ass ring, like a damn boxing ring, And that's how I got into it, man. I just, I loved it, fell in love with it. Went out there and did it with my dad, learned how to do it. And, luckily, after I did that, I was able to spend a lot of time with the right guys. I'd, come up to Atlanta, Georgia, because you remember WCW was, big deal. It was located out of Atlanta. Atlanta was a wrestling town, man. It was, WCW was here, and I said, well, it's got to be my goal is to get there, and it was a lot, closer than going to New York. And, I was like, well, hell, I've lived in Georgia before. So, came back here and, learned sat under the learning tree of a gentleman named Ken Timms. Are you aware of who that is? Okay. Ken Timms was a big-time guy back in the day. He wrestled in Mexico a lot as Fabulous Blondes, him and Eric Embry. I mean, just the guys, okay. He was back in the days of the territories, man. Ken was big-time in Mexico, great guy. He's worked with Rudy Gonzalez, a lot of guys. I mean, he was just one of the old-timers, man, that was, a big time back in his day. And I came up here, man, I have a stepbrother, and he wanted to get into wrestling with me and everything, and I said, okay. And he hadn't done any training. I've been training in Louisiana for about a year with my dad, and came up here and he said, man, I want to get on this. I'm going to, do it. I said, we'll be a tag team, and he said, all right. So we go, and my dad got us hooked up with Ken Timms, and went over to his house, and we talked to him and agreed, to come and train with him and, this and that. And he's going to, train my brother and help me to learn more. Cause if you're smart in this business, you don't ever quit learning. I've been doing it 24 years and I still seek the advice of veterans. I still talk to Alex Porto, James Beard, Rudy Gonzalez, all these guys. I still learn. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think I'm so high and mighty that I can't learn those, especially these guys that, been doing a lot longer than I have. And we went over to Ken's house, and I remember it was the first Saturday. And we walked in, and Ken said, all right, guys, you ready to train? And, yeah, we're ready to go, man. So come on out of the backyard. So we walk out in the backyard, man. I'm looking for the damn ring. I'm like, where is this damn thing? I don't see no ring nowhere. And I'm looking around. There's this big gymnasium mat, like a gym mat on the ground. And I looked at Ken. I said, sir, where's the wrestling ring? He said, ring? He said, you don't need no ring. He said, you take a bump on that mat on the ground, I tell you take a bump anywhere. He said, I'm going to teach you boys how to work. And I said, oh, dear God, what the hell am I, Yeah. And for 8 months while my brother trained and I continued my education, man, we took backdrops and hip tosses and the damn sunset flips, everything you can imagine on this damn mat in the backyard, and just, holy crap, man, you talk about but Ken, I didn't know it at the time. But he was teaching us so much that we would not have learned had we, I started off in a ring, but then my brother started off on the mat with Ken because he got into it, a year after I did. And he would do things like, there's no ropes. I mean, you're on a damn mat. You have to learn how to work, brother. You have to learn how to wrestle, because you can't, there's no ropes to hit. There's no ropes to fly off of, climb up on, jump off of. He would do stuff like he'd make us chain wrestle for 10 minutes and say, don't ever let go of your opponent. Like we could never break contact. And man, you talk about some of the best training ever, and Ken was a master
Absolutely.
at that. Oh my God. We did that, And then I was fortunate enough, I got hooked up with a guy named Demon Hellstorm. He was a guy out of Florida. He was trained by Adrian Street. And he ran shows in Florida for Sunshine Wrestling Federation. Just a very experienced veteran, just a great guy, man. And I kind of, sat under his learning tree and, spent some time with him. He was running shows here in Atlanta. And, Ken had trained me. He knew Ken and all that. So he started putting me on some of the shows. And, I was training with him and working out with him, learning a lot from him. And, it's kind of all preparing me. And I finally got my shot to go to WCW. I got it down the power plant with Sarge, Dwayne Bruce. You know who he was a trainer for the power plant, trained Goldberg, trained everybody at the power plant, Now, Sarge is about a 5-foot keg of dynamite. He's like a Marine drill corps sergeant. And so I get in out there and I get a look at the power plant. They go look at me, give me a tryout, whatever you want to call it, and I'm down there. And they used to take guys down there, man, for like $350, $300, get a tryout. Well, brother, let me tell you, tryouts lasted about 2 minutes before Sarge had you running for the door. I mean, he was going through them like wildfire, and he lined all us up platoon style, like we're in the damn service. And he comes by each one guy. And Sarge is like a pit bull, man. He's 5 feet tall and 5 feet wide and solid rock, and he got the flat top haircut gimmick. I mean, he is Sarge, and he's walking up to these guys, man, these big old guys, whatever, looking right up at him. That boy, I'm going to have you out of here before lunch. I'll have your ass out here in 10 minutes. You won't make it 10 minutes before you're trying and running for the door. And he was telling guys this. Like walking up to each one of them, man, and look at them, just, tell them, I'll have your ass out of here. You ain't going to make it. And he'd go like these big bodybuilder guys, and he'd be like, oh, you think you bad with all you muscles? You're going to be the first little bitch I break today. And I'm just like, shoot on these guys, And he gets down to me, and I'm just like, dear God, oh, what the hell, like, and he walks up to me, and he looks me up and down. And by this time, I'd put on some muscle and everything. I've been doing it for about 2.5 years, maybe 3 years at this point. So I was about up to about 250, 265, 6'4", good build, everything. Had a good look back then, going everything. And he said, you Rod Price's kid, aren't you? I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, I got a hell of a lot of respect for your old man. I think he's one of the best in the business. I said, thank you, sir. He looked at me and said, I don't respect you for shit. I said, okay, what the hell do you say to that, And I said, oh, okay, sir. And he said, but you will earn my respect. He said, you'll earn it. He said, I'll have your ass out of here faster than anybody. He said, as a matter of fact, I expect twice as much out of you as any swinging dick in this room. And if you don't give it to me, I'll send your ass packing, and you're going to tell your dad what a damn failure you are. I mean, this guy was brutal, God damn, all right, So I said, yes, sir. And, man, all the stories you've heard about the power plant, all that, did they really make, when you threw up, did they make you wipe it up with your shirt and put it back on? Yes. Yes, he did. And he did, man, I mean, brother, he had what he called a deck of cards. And he come out shuffling this damn deck. And red was Hindu squats. And whatever the number was on the card, that's how many Hindu squats you did. And black was push-ups. And whatever number on the card was what number of push-ups you did. Now, you do the math on that shit and see how many damn push-ups and Hindu squats that is, And, man, brother, and if he did wild cards or face cards, whatever the hell he wanted, man. And on a good day, if he's in a good mood, which is next to February, it'd be a half deck. And if it most times a damn full deck of cards, then you had to do blow-up drills and all that shit and training. And, man, for about 3 months, you thought I owed him money, man. I mean, I swear to God, I just like, what? To run over his dog, God, what kind of heat do I get? Jesus, And about 3 months, man, he just, dogged me and beat me and, man, made me wipe my puke up with my shirt. All that shit you've heard, man, is a straight shoot. It's 100% real, And about 3 months later, man, we're down there, and I'm just, and I'm just thinking, man, I'm gonna die. I mean, there's no, but I wouldn't give up, man. I'd, pass out, fall over, my legs give out, whatever. But I show up the next day, man, just beat the hell, but you just crawl in there, man. And about 3 months later, he comes up, hey, I'm gonna talk to you outside now. And I said, oh, hell, he's through playing. Cat and mouse is over. He's going to cut me loose. I'm done. That's it, And we get out there, and he looks at me, and he said, you probably think I hate you, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, sir, that is the impression I've come to believe, yeah, And he said, I don't hate you, man. He said, you know how many guys I see come through them doors talking about, oh, I love it, I got passion, I got heart, I got all this bullshit, and he said, I'm talking about second, third generation guys all come through the door, oh, I love this business, this and that. And he said, and half of them are full of shit and they did this and that. And I'm like, yes, sir. And he said, I have dogged you for 3 months harder than I've dogged anybody down here. And he said, I've been on you like white on rice. So I said, yes, sir, you have, And he said, but you never quit. You never bitched. You never whined. You showed up the next day. You took your medicine like a man. He said, you have proven to me that you're worth my time and that you want this. And he stuck out his hand. He said, from this point on, there's nothing I won't do for you. And by God, he's a man of his damn word. Sarge got me my 3-year contract, WCW, my developmental. He got me every break I ever had, booked on shows. The man literally opened every damn door for me there was, you know. I mean, so but you had to earn it, man. It ain't like today, man. These kids, they got a damn wrestling school in every damn strip mall, you know? I mean, and it's, but there's some legitimate ones. There's some good ones.
You can walk into a place and say, I want to be a wrestler. Okay, give me $20.
Yeah, give me your money, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's $2,500. Okay, so, am I a wrestler yet? Yeah, kid, you're a wrestler. I mean, that's just, it's the bullshit. And that's what I tell kids today, if you're
the main event.
Yeah, and you're stinking up the joint while you're doing it, and that's the thing is these, I tell kids today, I said, look, if you want to get trained, and there's some damn good schools. Rudy Gonzalez has a school in Texas. Rodney Mack, Red Dog, him and Jazz got a school in Texas. There's all kinds of great places to go. But what I tell the kids is, for the love of God, man, if you're going to get trained, why in the hell would you get trained by somebody who ain't never done a damn thing in the business herself? Who trained you? I was trained by Johnny Hot Stuff Hernandez. Who the hell is that? The hell's he ever done? I mean, these kids get trained by these guys that ain't never done nothing. I mean, there's good trainers out there. There's good schools out there. And then there's just the bullshit. They take your money and, tell you, congratulations, kid, you're a wrestler. They put on shows inside their school in front of friends and family, and they tell you how great you are, and you're the second coming of Bret Hart and all this bullshit. Then you go out there on these real shows, and you stink up the joint. You can't even lock up right. And, they wonder what the hell's going on, and it just creates this whole influctuation of disrespectful, these guys don't even know the proper conduct, nothing like that, man. And you can tell who's shit trained and who ain't, and it's just by the way they do stuff, the way they carry themselves, and you get these guys out there, now it's just, I'm real big on respect. And, something that Ken Timms told me a long time ago, and it's what I tell guys and girls in the business, and it's just what I've always went by. He said, let me tell you something about this business, kid. He said, respect is earned. It is not given. Now, earning respect can be very hard. Being taught respect can be very painful. It's a hands-on kind of lesson. And I knew exactly what he was talking about, I get it, And, that's the thing, man, is these kids, they go out there and they get improperly trained by guys that have never done a damn thing in the sport themselves. And they go out there and they wrestle for free and rolling fire and, broken glass and all that bullshit. And it's horrible. Or they go out there and do 50 million flippity floppity, backflip, triple jump, moonsault. It don't mean a damn thing, And it's just, it's amazing how the business has changed. Because, man, I'm before my time, man. I mean, I'm not as old as the guys that, like my dad in his time, but I fit in more with them than I do today's generation. I mean, it just, I get out there and they got no respect, man. That's a big thing about our sport. Respect is the thing, man, and that's what we all really at the end of the day trying to, you want the guys in the back, man, that was a great match, you did good, or, we want the respect of our peers, the respect of the fans and this and that. And, these guys in there now, I was at a show a while back and Cowboy Bob Orton was on the show. And we was doing a meet and greet. It was me with Bob Orton and Road Warrior Animal and Ricky Morton. And I mean, good God, it's just a, all-star, I was the lowest guy. How the hell did I get in here? Anyway, they put me on the show and, I'm like, God, man, how the hell did I get in this circle? Well, all right, I'll take it, and I went in there and some of them I had knew through the years and whatever. And some of them I had met for the first time. And, I went up, I've known Ricky for years, gave him a big hug, talked to him, but I came in, put my stuff down. Before I ever signed an autograph, took a picture, whatever, I put my suitcase down in the room, in this big, conference room at the hotel. And I walked around to every one of my coworkers, fellow wrestlers, if I knew him, I said hello, good to see you again, gave him, the hug and all that. We talked. If I didn't know him, I walked up and introduced myself. Now, I never met Cowboy Bob Orton before. Never had the pleasure of meeting him, And I walked up to him. I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm, Outlaw Brody Manson. I said, my father's Rod Price. Oh, I know your dad. I said, yes, sir. I said, I just wanted to come up and pay my respects to you, sir, and say thank you for everything you've given to our sport, for paving the way for guys like me. And, I just want to say thank you, sir, for all you've done, And he looked at me and he said, well, you're welcome. He said, man, thank you, brother. That means a lot. And I said, no problem, sir. Whatever. Walked on to, talk to everybody else or whatever. Well, a few minutes later, the kid was with Bob Orton. I don't know if it was his cousin, maybe another son, friend. I don't know who he was. He was with Bob. He's Bob's guy helping him out, whatever. And the kid comes up to me and said, hey, man, excuse me for a second. I said, yes, sir. He said, man, you just made Bob's day. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you know how many shows we go on where these kids that ain't even been in the beer business 2 years walk right by him and don't even speak to him? I said, you got to be shitting me. He's like, no, man. He said, we do shows everywhere. Bob does appearances and this thing. He said, man, these guys walk right by him, be in the same locker room, talking to each other, jibber jabbing, whatever. They said they never jaw jack, never even acknowledge he's there. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. He said, no, man. He said, what you just did meant a lot to him. It showed a lot of respect. And, I just wanted you to know how much it meant to me and how much it meant to him. And I was just like, isn't that what everybody does? I can't imagine a guy like that, a Hall of Famer, a big name guy like that, like snubbing the guy, really? Like not even.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind. I said, does this really happen? And I couldn't believe it, man. And it just goes to show, man, these kids now. I mean, if I would have done that back in the day, brother, I would have had my ass handed to me. If I'd have walked in a room and walked past Bullet Bob Armstrong, which I've worked, God knows, 100 times, and not spoke to him and just started putting on my boots or whatever, I'd have had a room full of veterans. Hey, you a superstar? Hey, man, we didn't know you was famous, brother. Yeah, I mean, I'd have got my ass handed to me, And these guys today, man, they got no respect, man. They think if you're in the same locker room with another guy, you're on the same level. But horse shit. You're not. There's a pecking order, and you are not on that level. I've been doing this for 24 years now. This will be my 24th year going into it come this March. And, I'm second generation, man. I grew up in this, I have worked Bob Armstrong, I will honestly say probably around 40, 50 times through my whole, career, total. I wrestled every Armstrong there is pretty much, Steve, Brad, all of them, I wrestled all of them, and the first time I ever worked Bullet Bob and had to wrestle him, I walked up to him and I said, hey boss, I got the honor and pleasure. I'm gonna get to wrestle you tonight. I said, whatever you want, boss. And he looked at me and said, well, all right then, look forward to it. Good luck, Not, hey, Bob, I'm going to do this and can I do this? And this is my special move. None of that. I say none of that shit, And to this day, I wrestled from the first time I wrestled him to about the 50th time that I wrestled Bob. Never did I walk up and say, oh, this is Bob, I'm going to do this to you, and I'm going to do it. Never. It was always the same thing. Hey, boss, it's your thing. Let me know what you want to do. And that's the thing, man, is these guys today, they don't get that. I see them in locker rooms. They're like, oh, well, I'm on the same level as, as Ricky Morton, because I'm in the same locker room. The hell you are. You better check it again. And that's what these guys don't get. And it's because they're being trained wrong. They're being trained by guys that have never done anything in the business. So how they going to tell them how to, how the business works? They ain't never done shit in the business themselves, And, I'm real bad about kicking off of somebody's ass for that, because that's the thing is back then the veterans would have corrected you. We policed our own, but now, you got all these guys working for a hot dog and a handshake, well, you pay for what you get, I did draw a paycheck my first year because I was paying my dues, but after that, veterans do that. I've seen them corner guys in the locker room. Hey man, why don't you get paid tonight? Oh, I just do it for a hobby. I do it because I love it. I do. Yeah, well, you taking food off my table, brother. How do you figure that? Well, if you working for free, why is he going to pay me? I've seen veterans corner guys, back in the day, and now these guys, promoters don't care. And I use that word promoter very loosely because most of them, oh, I can get you to wrestle for free. You'll roll around in broken glass, set yourself on fire. Oh, yeah, come on, brother, in front of 30 people. for nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah, it's horrible. The leg slaps and yeah.
Oh dear Jesus! Don't get me started on the damn. If anybody, here's the thing, man. There's these guys now. There's a dick guy, Joey Ryan. The dick guy, whatever.
Yep.
And the gimmick is you grab his junk and he flips you with it and all that. Then they got this other kid that runs around and puts his hands in his pocket the whole time. Wrestles and never takes his hands out of his pockets. And then that's him, yeah, that fucking kid. And then they got this other kid that working for this Masterpiece Rappers or wrestling thing he started. And the whole time he's in the match, he's playing a Game Boy. Like he never stops playing the Game Boy no matter what's going on or whatever. To me, that's making a mockery of the sport. To me, that's making fun of it. That's not being a part of it. That's not making it better. You're making a joke out of it, And, I told somebody that, I said, man, what you got to do if you had to wrestle this Orange Cassidy kid or whatever? I said, I'd knock the dog shit out of him. Keep your hands in your pocket and watch what happens. I said, I'll stand Hanson layer your damn head off, And, come up to me and tell me I want you to grab my junk and then I'm going to flip you with it. I'd beat the piss out of him, I was like, I ain't doing that stupid shit, I mean, that's just, to me, it's insulting, and it makes a joke out of the business, because if you're in a fight in the street and somebody's got his hands in his pocket, that dude's gonna get his ass whipped, And the thing is, man, yeah, I mean, if I'm in the ring and I'm wrestling you, brother, I don't know. I am not a sports entertainer. I am not. I am a pro wrestler. There is a huge difference, That sports entertainment bullshit is all, the acrobatics and the flippity-floppity flying and slapping the leg and hands in your pockets and, whatever, using your dick to flip people or whatever. That's not me, brother. I'm going to get in there and, you're going to see a big difference between pro wrestler and sports entertainer, because I'm going to knock the piss out of you. Whether I like you or not, you're getting the shit knocked out of you, and you better give it back to me. I mean, shit, it's just, I was trained to be a wrestler, not a sports entertainer, man. There's a big damn difference, And, people, tell me, I said, oh, man, well, it's not real or whatever. I said, have you ever seen one of my matches? Have you ever seen the guy that I was wrestling when he leaves that ring? I don't know what but no, that bullshit you watching on TV might not be real. And I said, but, I get in the ring, man, I'm there to, I'm going to tear down the house and I'm going to, I'm there to win, brother. I'm not going to slap my leg. I'm going to kick your damn teeth down your throat. Maybe I'm missing something here, man.
That's why they wonder why, these guys, so they jump in the ring or whatnot and wonder why they're getting the crap kicked out of them because they think it's all fake and whatnot. Yeah, it's fake until you get.
And there's a lot of it that is. There's a lot of bullshit sports entertainment out there. There's tons of it, But that's not what I'm about, man. I never. When I was in there with guys like, back in my day and I'm wrestling the Steiner Brothers and Harlem Heat and, somebody forgot to tell them it was fake because they knocked the piss out of me. So, they might want to clue them in on because they damn sure didn't feel fake to me when I was in there, and I was getting suplexed, on the back of my head by Scott Steiner or that damn Steiner line or Booker T with that axe kick. Felt like somebody kicked the back of my head off. Well, somebody forgot to tell them it was fake. So that's just, anyway, I was brought into it, man. I mean, I was trained to be a wrestler, not a damn sports entertainer, man. Difference is, man, a wrestler, to be a professional wrestler, you got to be legitimately tough. You have to be. To be a sports entertainer, you just got to pretend to be tough,
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you see my dad wrestling, Chris Adams or, doing the stuff at the Texas Sportatorium or whatever. I mean, I've been watching my dad wrestle since I could walk. And, you see a guy get out of the ring with the guy's busted open and blood. I mean, that don't look too damn fake to me. People got a big misconception. Yeah, there's plenty of fake wrestling or sports entertainment, as I call it, out there. You can see that bullshit on TV. Guys missing each other by 3 feet and flying through the air and, the most limp-wristed clotheslines and all that shit. I'm from that Bruiser Brody school, man. Somebody forgot to tell me it was a work. That's just not the way I roll with it,
Snug, not
What's that, brother?
snug, not
yeah.
tight.
I mean, that's it, man. I mean, I realized, like, what is your style? I said, man, I am old school strong style, brother. You know, I said, it just, that's the way I am, man. I said, I go in there, brother, and I go full on. You know, I'm not going to stop my foot and hit air. I'm not going to slap my leg. I'm not, if I grab a hold of you and I suplex you, you're going to know you've been suplexed. You know, there ain't no, whatever. I remember this one kid, man, Jesus Christ, just to give you an idea of how the business has just changed so much. Ron Simmons, good friend of my dad's, good friend of mine. Have you ever met Ron or had the pleasure of talking to him?
No, I briefly encountered him once at CAC for like a couple of minutes, and that was it.
Well, Ron's one of the greatest guys you could ever meet in the sport of professional wrestling. Just a great guy. And he was on a show with, he had left WCW, and he hadn't got to WWF yet. And he was doing some independent bookings, and he wound up doing a show with my dad. My dad was a booker, whatever, and he wound up, doing the show. And because they were friends and went up down the roads together, and they were roommates in South Africa for that WCW tour and all that. So they had history, And I was on the show, man. The guy hadn't been in the business maybe 2 years, And Ron's back there, and this kid walks up to him and says, hey, man, I'm wrestling you tonight, and, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this, so be ready because this is going to happen and this and that. And, man, Ron is just looking around at all of us like, y'all ribbing me? I mean, give me the Iggy. This is what got a damn rib is this, And I'm sitting there damn slack-jawed, and he sits there and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, I'm going to blah, and all this. And he goes on for like 10 damn minutes. I mean, just with all this stuff he's going to do to Ron and how he's going to wrestle him and do this and that. And Ron's sitting there looking at him, man. He's looking at all of us. And the kid finally gets done. He says, what do you think about that? And Ron goes, well, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do. Wait a minute. I know what we're going to do. I got it. The kid said, what's that? Ron said, how about I just beat the fuck out of you for 20 minutes? And walked off, and I'm just like, and the kid was like, what is he talking about? I'm like, he's going to kill you. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. Make peace with your maker or whatever God you pray, because he is going to kill you. And the kid was so dumb, he didn't understand, like, why would he do it? I'm like, let me tell you, I said, kid, I said, hell, I've been in the business 2 years, and damn, I ain't that stupid, I said, your correct response would be, mouth shut, ears open, and do exactly what you were told to go out there and try to wrestle Ron, and the best of luck to you, but, don't tell this man all the stuff you're going to do to him. He'll kill you. I'm just like, my God, And it's just like, these guys now, man, they just, and I understand the business changes, man. It evolves. I won't even say evolves. I'll say revolves, because it ain't better than it used to be, in my opinion. But they go out there, man, and, and that's great that they're athletic. Now, the Rock and Roll Express, brother, they did it the right way. The Midnight Express, the best high flyer in the business is Bobby Eaton. I don't give a damn what anybody for the psychology and the best, that high flyer style, Brian Pillman, Bobby Eaton, those guys were the masters, And you get these guys, man, and they out there doing all this, 16 backflips and this and that. I mean, brother, if you do that to me, I'm gonna snatch your ass out of the air and slam you through that mat. That's not wrestling. That's a you're a damn cheerleader, an acrobat, or whatever. This ain't ballet, brother. That ain't what we doing here. And these guys, I remember this kid came out, man, and he just I was wrestling him one night. And he comes out of the ring, man, and he did about 3 handsprings and a corkscrew stuff. He did like just the whole damn thing down the ramp or whatever. I'm just, sitting there in the ring like, okay. And he gets in the ring and he flips something through the ropes, does some kind of back somersault or some shit. And he goes up to the top rope, man. I'm just sitting there watching him, like, all right, well, what you going to do? And he goes up the top rope and does a backflip, lands on his feet. I grabbed him and German suplexed him so hard he bounced off the mat and went over the top rope. And I said, he had the nerve to act surprised. I said, right, brother, we're in a wrestling match. You come out here and do all that, flippity floppity shit. Then you gonna jump, flip off the back rope, and land with your back to me? I almost suplex you out of your damn boots. He took about 8 or 9 suplexes before he realized what was going on. I said, shit, man, I don't know what you do. I didn't come here for a damn acrobat show. When I grew up, man, watching guys that, I was a Bruiser Brody fan. I love Bruiser Brody, Arn Anderson to me, of course, my dad, Road Warrior, Animal, and Hawk. The Road Warriors to me were the best thing in wrestling I had ever seen in my life, and, that's when I was a kid watching this. Oh my God. And, I actually had the chance for the first time. I've been friends with Joe on Facebook for years now and this and that. And, I finally met him in person a couple of months back. I mean, we've been, talked through Messenger and all that or whatever. Cause when I did a tag team with my brother, we were legitimately like, I'm 6'4", 335 pounds legit. And it's in the gym, big brother. It ain't, it ain't, I've been eating, double cheeseburgers at the buffet, brother. I mean, I hit the weights. I power lift, and my brother is about 6 foot. At the time, he's about 285. So we were, Road Warrior size comparable, and we idolized the Road Warriors growing up. Outside of our dad, man, the Road Warriors were that was all we wanted to be. I mean, that's, that was the top of the food chain. And I wanted to wear face paint and wear dog collars. And I know the Road Warriors been ripped off a million times. We didn't want to do it to rip them off. We wanted to do it as a tribute to our heroes, to our idols, to the guys because the Road Warriors, me and my brother, were bouncers in bars. We wrestled together. We lived together. We fought together. We worked together in bars. We did the same shit Animal and Hawk did, and we were, stepbrothers. I mean, we had that chemistry, and I got in touch with Joe on Facebook, and I said, sir, I'm Rod Price's son, please accept my friend request, all that shit. I said, my brother and I are doing a tag team. We are the original Inc. Incorporated, INK, INC, because we're both big tattooed, scary looking guys or whatever. And we're the original, the first, the only Inc. Incorporated. Yeah, we've been ripped off before too, but it's bullshit. We've been doing this since 1996. And I said, and he said, well, the first thing, Animal said, he'd just be like, oh, yeah, go ahead, kid. He said, you got any footage I can watch? And I said, yeah, man, you go on YouTube, and told him where to find it. And he said, well, let me get back to you on it, man. I'm not real keen on, people wearing, the dye. And I said, sir, I understand. I know you've been ripped off a million times. And he said, man, we've been ripped off by skinny fat asses and fat guys. And he said, man, all these guys, like, you ain't even seen the inside of the gym. He said, people have been ripping us off for years. And I said, well, sir, that's not, it's more of a tribute, a shout out from us. It's not, but if you don't want to give me the blessing, I won't wear it. I won't do it. I won't wear the face paint. I won't wear the, none of that shit. And he said, well, let me see what you got. And I said, okay. Hell, I didn't know if I was going to hear from him again. I didn't know if that was the end of it or whatever. About 2 weeks later, I said, well, I guess we ain't doing the makeup gimmick, and I get a message on Facebook. Hey, I watched your matches. Sorry getting back to you. I had a lot of bookings, this and that. He said, yeah, man, you absolutely have my blessing. Really enjoyed watching your work. He said, you definitely you and your brother remind me a lot of me and Hawk. Man, brother, you talk about a kid on cloud nine.
Wow.
I was 10 years old all over again, man. I mean, I didn't know whether to be shit or go crazy. I was so happy, And I was like, holy shit. I told my brother, I said, man, Animal, he gave us okay. And he said, what? And I said, yeah, I swear he gave us okay. And man, I was like a kid at Christmas, brother, because the fact, I said, not only he gave us the okay to do it, he actually said, you guys are the real deal, because we're both power lifters. We're both, big guys, close to 300 pounds. I'm over 300 pounds, over 6 foot. And Animal said, man, your style, I like it. It's old school, man. He's like, it's real. I love it. He said, it reminded me a lot of me and Hawk. And to be told by Animal himself that you remind him of, oh, Jesus Christ, man, that beats any damn belt I could ever win. I mean, that's just, that's top of the mountain, man, and we did that for years and years and years. And then my brother got out of the business, and, we worked everywhere in some capacity. I spent a year at developmental with WWE before there was ever an NXT. This was called Deep South. It was in McDonough, Georgia. And I was down there with Luke Gallows and Kofi Kingston and Ray Gordy, which is Bam Bam Gordy's son. And Bam Bam and my dad wrestled together in Texas all the time. Gangrel, David Heath was down there, and loved David Heath, man. One of the most underrated guys in the business. He's so damn good, And I was down there with those guys, and there were a lot of guys down there that were sports entertainers. And what I mean by that is they're mainly politicians.
Was that where David was training people? Was he one of the
No, Dave's got a school called Gangrel's Asylum in Florida where he lives. It's once again, great school, reputable trainer. The guy's no, Dave was down there. He had come back to work for WWE. And they were trying to figure out what to do with him, what they were going to put him, what was going on. And so he was at Deep South getting repackaged, basically. I was down there under a developmental deal. Luke Gallows was down there in a developmental deal. Kofi Kingston, a couple other guys, Ray Gordy. And that was a small crew of us that were old school, that were trained right, that was this and that. And then they had a locker room full of sports entertainers, man. And I'm talking about just the most kiss ass, politician, couldn't bust a grape in a damn food fight. Down there to try to make it rich and famous in pro wrestling, because their reality show TVs didn't work out, or they wanted, these were just guys trying to use a business to get rich and famous. They didn't know the hell Magnum TA, you say Magnum TA, Ronnie Garvin, they don't know the hell you're talking about. Anything past the attitude, they didn't know who the hell you were. You say, any of these guys, man, Ronnie Garvin, who's Magnum TA? I don't know who's that. I think I heard the name. Mr. Wrestling number 2. Who? They don't know shit, about the business. They're just down there trying to make a buck, And that's when I first really had my first real hardcore dose of sports entertainer, man. It made me want to throw up, and I hated it. And I was miserable as shit. I'm telling you, man, it's the most god-awful experience of my life. It was just so, Jody Hamilton was the guy that ran it, the original assassin, Jody Hamilton. I love Jody, Nick Patrick's dad. I love Jody, man. Great old school guy. And they had Bill Lamont down there. And I'll go ahead and just reserve any comments on Bill Lamont because I ain't got a damn nice thing to say about him. So I'll just leave it at that. And not because, he was too tough on me or whatever. I didn't care for his methods. He was a poor man Sarge to me. You try to do Sarge's gimmick and you ain't Sarge and you're doing it wrong anyway. But that's just all I'll say about that. I know we got a lot of mutual friends or whatever. So respectfully, I'm just going to say, not my impression of what a trainer should be, but that's just my opinion, but, I love Jody to death. Guys. Man, I just, here's the thing, man, and I ain't going to try to get too much into this because we do have a lot of friends that are common, and, just because, I can be friends with you and I might not like all your friends, might not like all mine, but ain't no reason me and you got to have heat. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of the way I look at it. So I go sit there and bury Bill DeMott or whatever. I didn't care for his methods. Now Sarge would beat the shit out of you. He definitely wasn't no kind coddling, he beat your ass. I mean, he put you through it, but there's a certain way he did it. You know what I mean? And he just, he put you through hell, man. Yeah, you'd have to wipe up puke with your shirt and put it back on, all that shit. But it was just different. Sarge never, it was a different kind of thing, man. I was going to say, it's a different kind of abuse. That's the only fucking way I can put it, It was, Sarge, when Sarge broke you down, he did it with love. I don't know how else to put it, Bill did it to...
Exactly, yeah.
The bully, it's like a bullying thing. And man, I just, and dumb shit like making guys sit in the corner while some other guy put his ass in his face and make him sit there and let the guy, stink face him or whatever, calling people faggot and this and that. I just didn't really care for the guy, And, he's one of those guys to me that, he'll push around who he thinks who he knows he can get away with it with, and that's why me and Bill never got along. You don't intimidate me worth a damn, brother, I've been doing mixed martial arts since I was 7 years old. I was like, I've had real fights, and, MMA sanctioned matches. And, I said, you think you're going to, intimidate me, brother? I got a skill set that'll hurt your feelings.
Scare tactics are not intimidating me.
Not a damn bit, and I should think, man, I respect all veterans. I respect, but like I said, I give respect, but don't ever think for 1 minute I'm going to be your bitch because you get a big surprise on that one, and a couple of guys have, a couple of guys have, tried to test the water and found out real quick. I respect you and I give, respect is given, respect is shown. At the same time, you better damn well respect me. Maybe I'm not on your level when it comes to, you've been in the business longer than me or you've been, higher mountains than I've been on or whatever, and I'll respect that. Don't ever try to treat me like I'm your bitch, because at that point, that whole veteran respect thing, younger guy goes out the window, man. We'll go for the real deal. Yeah, we'll, you really want to, don't believe your gimmick, man, because you pretend to be a tough guy. I don't really think that shit means you really are, because I'll tell you real quick, and it's just, it's just the way I was brought in, and that's what, Ken Timms told me, my dad, show respect to everyone, son. Eyes, mouth shut, ears open, learn, show respect to everybody, learn as much as you can from the veterans, this and that. Don't ever be anybody's punk. If they try to disrespect you to the point where they're trying to punk you out, you show them what you're made of. And I was down at, I remember I was down at Deep South one night. And I was working this guy, okay? And Jody Hamilton pulled him back there in the back and said, look, man, you're wrestling, him tonight, this and that. And Jody said, basically, man, get on him, blah, 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 this and that. And he told the other guy, make your comeback, try to beat him, this and that. You guys go out there, best man win, all that good shit, I'm like, okay. So, I'm Jody said, when the bell goes off, come from behind on him. I said, okay, Jody said, that'll, come from behind. He won't be expecting that. I said, okay. So I come from behind on him, man, and I hit him once in the back, man, and you'd think it didn't even faze him. He turned around and fired up on me like he was damn Terry Von Erich, So this 2-minute match that we had turned into about 12 and a half minutes of me solidly beating the dog shit out of him all over the damn arena, just beating the piss out of him, This 2-minute match we had went about 12 minutes. And he's trying to go up the ramp. I'm chasing him up the ramp, man. I'm dating him with chairs and kicking everything. I'm trying to kill us, some bitch. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are, man? And we get back there, man, and oh man, Bill's got smoke coming out of his ears, and I took an ass chewing and this, and I said, Jody, what would you would have done, man? Jody said, I'd have done the same thing you would have done, but those were different times, and with the rules and shit we got to go by, and politics and horse shit. And Jody said, I'm not saying I wouldn't have done the same thing, but it was a different time. Shit's changed. Business has changed. I said, and I'm like, so took an ass chewing from Jody, and Bill had his say so or whatever. Which I really give a rat's ass about that. But anyway, so we get back up, sitting there, and everybody's just looking at me in the locker room like, what did the fuck just happen with this guy, And Ron Simmons comes over, like I said, he got history of my dad. Ron walks over, hey, what happened out there? You saw what happened, Ron. I said, I got on him, and I said, and he, well, he wanted to act like, he was tough, and it didn't hurt him at all. I said, I was going to show him how hard I could lay it in, man. He said, well, Jody got in the ass because he had to. He's office, and he had to do that. And I said, yeah, I know. I got no heat with Jody. I know. And Ron looked at me. He said, I tell you what, though. And he said, you did the right thing. And I said, I appreciate that, Ron, coming from you. He said, do you know why you did the right thing? I said, well, I ain't gonna, that guy ain't gonna punk me out. And he said, no. He said, you did the right thing. He said, because there ain't a swinging dick in this room ever. No sell your shit again. I was like, yeah, true to form, man. After that, no, man, if I hit somebody, they wouldn't scared to show me it hurt, That's the way it is, And Ron said, he said, man, the apple don't fall from the tree, does it? I said, no, Ron, I don't guess it does, man. I said, I just, Jody said, y'all got 2 minutes, and, I got on him. He wanted to try to bulk up like, nothing even hurt him, well, I can hit harder, okay, we're out there trying to have a wrestling match, but you want to go full on, man, we can get real with this real quick, and that's the thing is like, I don't know how to be a sports entertainer. I never watched my dad on TV and said, man, I want to be a sports entertainer. That just never happened, I said, I want to be a wrestler, And, working with guys, like I got to work with Ole Anderson, which I have nothing but respect for. I got to work with some of these veterans, man.
Everything was done in the ring. You, if you had a spot outside of the ring, it meant something. And you were the only son of a bitch that had the spot outside the ring that entire time.
You got that right. Yeah, I mean, that's just, the way it was structured, man. I mean, the thing about it is now, is these kids, they don't give a damn about getting the show over. It's all about getting yourself over. You can do both. It is, I do it every damn, you can do both, and these guys think it's all about me. Let me get myself over. Let me do this and that, but you ain't doing nothing, man. You're killing the show. It's all about getting the show over, man. There ain't no I and team, And I went out there and done stuff to get the show over that might not have got me personally over at that moment, but it got it over overall because it sold more tickets and more people came back and more people talked about what a great show it was, and they were entertained and they liked what they saw. But these guys now, man, you see these dumb sumbitches walking around with replica belts at some independent or like that shit means something. Like, it's an old WCW replica belt, right? That ain't a real belt that you're walking around with, Then you carrying that shit to the mall and put it on the damn dashboard of your car, and you realize you can order one of them offline for about $200, right? It ain't no damn real belt. That's a knockoff. And it said right there, some of this shit, they don't even try to You know, see these guys in these, you know, independent organizations. I'm the world champion right on the damn front of the belt. ECW world champion. You know, I'm like, that's a replica, man. Don't mean shit. You know, you guys thinking this means something, man, and you know that don't mean nothing, brother. That's a replica belt. I can order one right now and walk around the house with it on. Act like I'm. That don't mean shit, you know. And these guys, man, they think it's, you know, means something, or they think they're in the same. You know, the lack of respect is just absolutely mind-boggling, you know, and that's because everybody's a badass over the internet. Everybody's a Facebook karate or, you know, Instagram tough guy or Twitter tough guy, you know. I mean, everybody's, you know, on the internet, man, you be the most badass cage fighting ninja warrior you want to be, you know. Everybody is one, you know. And then, you know, back in the day, man, you talk shit, you got the shit knocked out of you, you know. That's the way it worked, you know. And these guys get out there, man, and they start believing their character, their gimmick, or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, you pretend to be a badass, so you start thinking you're a badass, and you start running your mouth over the internet like you're a badass, and you see a guy at a show, and he chin checks you, and you got the nerve to act surprised, like, why did I just get my ass whipped? You know? Because you're a dumbass, you know?
My teeth and it's just down my throat. What was that for?
Yeah, you don't get it's that moment you realize you're not on the internet anymore, you know, and it's just, you know, these guys, man, I'm not even gonna dignify putting him over by mentioning his name and making him relevant, but there's this podunk kid in Tennessee, and the gimmick, he calls himself the business killer, because his whole shtick is to go out and make fun of the business. That's what he does. He makes a mockery of wrestling, you know, he calls himself the business killer. And he slaps his leg. If he does a headlock, he slaps his leg. I mean, it's just, you know, he's that guy. He makes fun of makes a mockery of the business. You know, he just absolutely, that's what he does. It's all a big joke to him and this and that. And I'll say the word booker because there's no other term, but I use that as loose as I can, because if you're a real booker, you ain't booking this piece of trash, you know? And these guys, because this jackass will wrestle for free and roll around in broken glass, will put him on these shows where he goes out and just pisses all over the business, you know? So he's online, man, on Facebook or whatever. And are you familiar with the gentleman Bob Cook? Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Bob Cook, for those out there listening who don't know who it is, Bob Cook is a very well-respected veteran in the business. He has worked, in his day, every top guy. I'm talking Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. He has worked every top guy there is back in the day. And Bob Cook still got one of the best damn punches in the business, always has, you know? And he's on there. And this kid, and Bob is on his Facebook gimmick, and he's talking about the dick flip guy, Joey Ryan, the dick guy, you know, and talking about what a bunch of damn horseshit it is, and I agree with him. And this kid gets on there and says, Joey Ryan makes more money than you do, you has-been that never was, and this and that, and you ain't shit jobber and all this. And then he goes on to say, I'll be glad when all you old veterans finally die and get the hell out of the business. I wish all of these old veterans would just hurry up and die. Well, brother, I took extreme, you know, first of all, at this point, 24 years, I am one of those veterans. My father is one of those veterans, you son of a bitch, you know, that gave his life, his blood, and his body to this business. I take that real damn personal, you know, and I got on the damn thing and I intervened. I said, you disrespectful piece of trash, you know, and he started all that Facebook karate bullshit and tough guy bullshit. And I said, okay, I tell you what, you know, Mr. Internet Tough Guy, I looked on his Facebook page. I see where you wrestle all around Tennessee and these little podunk, you know, National Guard armies, whatever. I said, I'm going to contact every damn booker, every one of these shows that you're booked on, and I'm going to tell these some bitches that I'll come work for free if I can get my hands on you. And all of a sudden, man, it was a different tune. And I was like, you know, he's like, and I said, oh, no, you're wrestling here in Tennessee on this date. And this. I said, man, I'm going to jump my damn truck, you know, throw some beer in the bag. And I said, I'm going to come down there. And I said, I'm going to wrestle for free. Because I said, they're damn sure going to book me because they ain't never had a name guy in there. It's all it's a hot dog and a handshake. I said, saying a damn promoter down there going to turn down a chance to put asses in seats and make money. You know, and I busted my ass, worked hard enough that I, you know, got a name. I mean, I'm not Rock or Hogan, but I got a damn name and I get booked because I put on a hell of a show. And I said, I'll contact every one of these bookers. I said, I'll come down there. And I said, just to get you in the locker room, you little, coward bastard. I said, I'll beat you next damn show. Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Ninja Warrior Badass, runs to the Facebook police and says, he threatened me. I'm scared. He threatened me. and they put me on damn Facebook jail for 7 days. I was on lockdown, in solitary confinement on Facebook. And I'm like, that's a sports entertainer for you right there. This guy's the baddest son bitch walking the planet till you say, okay, well, I'll be there. And all of a sudden, because, the dumb son bitch knew, oh shit, he knew the promoters. These guys, man, they're packing out a house of maybe 12, maybe 18 people, And I'm like, these some bitches say, hey man, I come down there and work for free, give me this kid in the ring. I said, that's your ass, because they're gonna be like, hell yeah, you work for me, shit, yeah, come on down here, Brody Manson's gonna come to my show. I mean, not putting myself over, but goddamn, I mean, consider they ain't got nothing but local guys who've been backyard trained, and I'm telling them, yeah, man, I'm going to wrestle for free. Shit, they're going to jump all over that. He knew that. Like, if I'd have said, I'm going to come kick your ass, I'm going to come to you, he'd have been like, tough guy bullshit, whatever. But when you say, okay, well, I'm going to pull a veteran trick here. I'm going to go down there and work for free, so I know they're going to jump all over that. So the minute they do that, I mean, I'm gonna say, I told him, I said, I'm gonna see if you can fucking move your hands with as much energy as you run your mouth, and I mean, Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Facebook Karate, he threatened me. Oh my God, I'm scared. And, I'm like, oh, what's the matter, Tough Guy? You the baddest son of a bitch on the planet a minute ago, but when that's the thing, man, that reality kicks in, man, and these guys, I just, they're shit bags, and I mean, I've been down there with some of these guys when I was at Deep South. That's one of the reasons I hated it so much, is because there was great guys down there like the guys I mentioned, and I loved all of them. But the other 80% of that locker room were sports entertainers. I mean, and when I say that, I mean kiss asses, politicians, they damn sure weren't wrestlers. What's that?
Right, exactly.
I mean, so it's just, that's where I got the bad taste in my mouth. And oh, sorry about that, man. I've been jaw-jacking, jack up on that gimmick juice, brother. I'd go all night.
Just playing the producer role here, letting you know how far we've gone so far. But, yeah, you've told some stories there. And, I mean, that one that put you in Facebook jail, that was a case of...
Ain't this something? Let's put that on my tombstone.
That's a case of the kayfabe, the real kayfabe winning over against the wannabe in the IWC.
Exactly, brother.
So, have you worked any of the? Have you worked with Adam Page or any of those guys?
I have not worked with any of the AEW guys. I've known Cody since he's about 9 years old. Over his dad, Dusty, at WCW. And I knew Cody, but God, he was 9 years old last time I saw him. So I can't say. Now, I know Dallas Page. I know he works behind the scenes. I mean, but, I have not had the opportunity, to actually work with any of the guys there. Because these guys are all younger guys that came up in a different time than I did. And, whatever. I mean, So, I know some of the guys like Tully Blanchard. I know Tully. I know, Dean Malenko. I know Arn Anderson. The guys work behind the scenes. The current guys on the roster, not so much because hell, they ain't but, like 21, 22 years old. So, I'm a little older than that. So, no, I haven't worked with them. But if Cody's listening, I'm waiting on that phone call, brother.
You said you wrestled like some of the Armstrong guys and with rock and roll and some of them. Who are some of your favorite guys that you have worked with?
Man, I have been so fortunate to work with so many guys. I love working with the Steiner brothers. I love working with Scotty and Rick. I love working with Rock and Roll Express, Ricky and Robert. I was very fortunate to be a younger guy that got to work a lot of veterans because imagine this. They liked me because I was respectful and knew about the business. Go figure, So, and I could go out there and and have a hell of a match with them. So, there's different chemistry, different guys, man. But I mean, some of those guys, anytime I got to work in Steiner's, Rock and Roll Express, Bobby Eaton, man, dear God, one of the best. Bob Armstrong, one of the best. Anytime I had the honor of working one of those veterans, not only did I have an incredible match, but I also learned so much,
Right. Now, I got a funny story about Scott Steiner. A few years ago, when he was still with TNA. This was, God, what was this? 2009, 2010, I think. I got the pleasure of I was a stagehand, and we got to work all different kinds of events and whatnot. And wrestling came through, and they're like, "Anybody wrestling fans want to, work the wrestling show coming up?" And I was like, "Hell yeah! I'm gonna get paid to work a wrestling show, absolutely." So I went in there and set the ring up, and Bob Rosen was their head of security and head ring guy, and makes a ton of rings. He made the AEW ring they have right now. That's his design. Him and Brody put together. Great guy, and he was the guy we were in contact with. So we show up there that morning in Seattle, and we do the setup, get everything ready and whatnot. And he's like, "Yeah, hang out, do what you want, hang back here, whatever." Man, we got to hang out with everybody, with Scotty, with the Hardys, everything, and all of them, and spent the whole day just hanging out backstage with everybody, and just an incredible experience. Well, the next day, they had a show down in Salem, which is about a 3-hour drive, but it was only about an hour drive for me because I drove 2 hours to go to Seattle to do the show from Portland. So the next day I would come down to Salem, and they're like, "Come on down and, you can work or whatever and everything." And I was like, "You know what? I'll come down and do it just to do it because of the experience and whatnot."
Right.
They get down there, and we're doing everything and whatnot, and all of a sudden, because they don't have us back there doing double duty, we're out in the front. About 20 minutes later, Bob comes out and tells me that, "Hey, if you see anybody wearing any kind of a chainmail that looks like Scott's, let us know." Because somebody got in the back and took Scott's chainmail.
Oh, dear God, I wouldn't want to be that guy.
And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? The next night, you don't let us back there to help cover everything and keep security and whatnot, and shit gets jacked."
Wow.
Because it's a different promoter.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Scotty's not the guy you want to piss off. I mean, if you're going to pick, if you're trying to commit suicide, I think a less painful way is to die than pissing off Scott Steiner. I mean, it's just, that's like going in there and trying to piss off, Ming or Haku, or, whatever you want to call it, man. That's just, it's suicidal, man. That guy's, the baddest guy. And I've seen guys piss Ming off and just do dumb shit. And I'm like, he's going to kill you, right? I mean, this is the baddest. And people ask me all the time. They said, "Man, who's the most legitimate badass in professional wrestling ever?" And my answer and Bradshaw's answer, and anybody that isn't, they're the baddest. Ken Shamrock, nope. Bill Goldberg, nope. Steve Blackman, nope. Dan Severn, nope. I'm not trying to, no disrespect to those gentlemen, but Ming is the baddest son of a bitch that ever walked into a wrestling ring. I worked with him at WCW, man, and I the first time I ever got to wrestle him, I was under developmental, and we do dark matches, and back then it was different. If you was developmental, you got dark matches, you did house shows. If you was lucky, you got to get your ass kicked on Saturday Night Main Event. But it was, it was different down there. We didn't have our own TV show like NXT or whatever.
Right.
And Sarge comes up to me one night. He said, "I got some good news and I got some bad news for you." And I said, "Oh, shit, all right." And he said, "Good news is you got a dark match on Nitro tonight." And I said, "Oh, man," 'cause that was always a bump in pay. Like you had a base, salary contract, but the way it worked back then, if you did a pay-per-view at dark, anything you did above just showing up, you got a bump in pay. So that was a bump in pay for me.
Right.
I said, "Oh, hell yeah," And I said, "What's the bad news?" He said, "You work at Ming." Oh, shit. Okay. And I said, "God, okay." And so, I went to, and I seen him like in catering, but, man, I was very respectful. I always said hello to everyone, but I never, my whole interaction with him was, meaning, how are you, sir? Just want to say hello and pay my respects. Okay, brother, how you doing? I'm doing good, sir. Thank you. And I get the hell away from him, because, I would go, I don't want to take a chance on bothering the man, pissing him off. I paid my respect, and I got the hell on out the way, And, so I go to find him, and I was walking to him. I said, "Excuse me, sir. I'm wrestling you tonight." And he said, "Oh, okay, brother. We have you get that big Samoan accent, He said, "You're a big guy. We have a good match." He said, "Brother, you better give it all you got, because I'm going to." And I said, "Oh, okay." He said, he said, "Brother, you better fight to win, because I'm going to." And I said, "Oh, yes, sir." He said, "We go out there and have a great match, man. We tear it down, He said, "Just, no, don't half-ass, brother. You better come to fight." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "Oh, dear Jesus, what?" And I went back to Sarge, and I said, "Yeah." He said, "How'd it go?" And I said, "Well, damn, Sarge, he told me I better bring it to his ass. He's gonna bring it to mine." And he said, "Well, you better. He'll kill you." I said, "Okay," And we went out there, man, and we beat it down. He did not kill me, and he could have. Easily, but we went out there, man, and we went at it, brother, and we went back and forth, and I laid into him, and he laid into me, and yeah, he kicked my ass, and he won, and I ain't gonna be like, I don't think I'm a lesser man for admitting that. Too many damn people can beat him, and I got my ass handed to me, but I brought my fight, and I give him everything I had. And, and the way it is, how it is in our business, man. You go out there and you fight with each other. It's like, MMA or whatever. And when the fight's over, man, if you're a sportsman, you shake the guy's hand. You did good, man. Shit, better luck next time, whatever, So we get back there, man. I went back there, and I feel like I've been in a damn car wreck, And I, walked up, and I said, "Congratulations, for winning, thank you, sir, whatever." He said, "Oh, brother, I'll wrestle you anytime. You brought it, man. I like that. This ain't ballet. You fight to win." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And I'm laying there, trying to pick my damn rib cage up off the floor, whatever. Beat the hell. And but it was that thing of respect, man. And after that, I worked him a couple more times, and I'm still friends with him today. And brother, the stories I can tell you about him, this is a true story, and it's not exaggerated. It ain't hype. This ain't a damn work. It's the straight truth. Well, what happened? We were somewhere one night, and me and guy got into a fight in a bar or something. Somebody said something. If you had that big old crazy afro, somebody made the mistake of making fun of him or something. And some got into it. So many whips. Before we even had to get up, he done whipped about 5 guys' asses at one time. I mean, just, it was a damn massacre or whatever. Police get called, and they're trying to grab me and force him down. And he's like, he starts slinging these cops off like they're rag dolls, They pepper sprayed him with his pepper spray. He inhaled it. "That's all you got, mother. That's all you got. You ain't got shit." I mean, that's all you got. He is breathing in damn pepper spray, breathing it in. And they finally, and he's just knocking these cops, and man, they go like they're trying to go for tasers and shit. They finally get him or whatever, and they finally, just say, they draw down on him, they're going to shoot him, He's finally, they're like trying to get the handcuffs on him. He's like calling him, racing hell the whole time or whatever. Well, he's so big and wide and strong, you can't get handcuffs. So they put 2 pairs of handcuffs together, man, because they can't get his hands behind his back. They get him on him, and he sits there and laughs. And just after he's been pepper sprayed and maced, and he just laughing his ass off. He pops the handcuffs from behind his back. Pops them off. Oh, wow. I don't mean he slipped out of them. I mean, he broke them. Pulled them out from behind his back and laughed and said, "You ain't shit. Handcuff me, ain't shit." And I mean, they finally, got him, enough to calm down or whatever and this and that. And, sergeant came out and it'd be whatever. And it got all out of hand. And, at that point, I think everybody just wanted to fucking go home, Nobody wanted to do the paperwork on that shit, Everybody, we're wrestlers or whatever. I said, man, these guys started fighting the bar. Then the cops came. I said they jumped on him. He was just defending himself. And the cops looked around and said, all these guys laying on the ground bleeding unconscious. They said, "So you guys jumped these guys?" I said, "No, it was all him. We didn't do shit." We sat there and watched. I said, he said, "So this guy beat 5 guys and you shouldn't really believe it." I said, "Why don't you ask some of your officers about him inhaling that damn pepper spray and popping them handcuffs off?" And they told him, whatever. And the sergeant's like, "Look, this has got far in hand. I mean, these cops are just, he's broke out of hand." Because they finally just said, "Look, can you guys just leave?" And yes, we can. and me still want to buy it. I mean, God, and I'm just like, we finally get him back to the hotel or whatever. I mean, I had seen him sit there and inhale pepper spray and bust out of a pair of handcuffs from behind his back. Now, brother, I am 6'4", 330 pounds, legit. I power lift, I've been working out since I could walk, okay? I bench press 500 pounds, whatever. Never in my life could I pop out of a pair of handcuffs behind my back, ever. I mean, slip a pair on the trial and see how far you get, Man, he's just the baddest. The baddest.
Yeah, I'm at CAC this year, and I'm sitting at the pool, and out comes Dave Sierra and Haku with a 24 rack. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. By about 9:45, that entire 24 rack is gone. And they're going more. And he's walking like nothing.
Oh, yeah. He's the guy. Here's the thing, man. If he likes you, because I thanked him, like after, the first time I heard it, I said, I know you could have killed me. Thank you for just whipping my ass. I know you could have killed me if you wanted to. And he looked at me, he said, brother, I see you in catering and everything. You always show respect to everyone. You show respect to the veteran. You show respect to everybody, brother. He said, I see that. He said, that's why I don't kill you, brother. I like you. And I said, thank God. He didn't like you. Oh, dear Jesus, you did it for a rough night. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him just choke guys out, shoot. I've seen him just, he is strong enough, man. If he wants to punch you, he'll break through your sternum. I mean, he's that strong, and he's so deadly. And I mean, people understand this guy was a bodyguard for the King of Samoa. That's not make believe. That ain't made up, brother. That's truth, I mean, he was, this guy is a trained killer, I mean, not only that, but Jesus Christ, his strength is unhuman, I mean, it just, and you ask him, oh, this guy could, but what about this guy? I said, I don't care who, now, then, whatever. I said, there ain't a tougher guy that's ever been in the business. I said, Andre the Giant, this is a true story. Andre the Giant, when he was alive, and you know how big Andre was, how strong he was. He said, there's only two men that I fear in the wrestling business, and that's Haku, which is Ming, and Harley Race. Andre. Two men he feared, Harley and Ming. That tells you something. Like, wasn't too many people could ride roughshod on Andre, in his day, I mean, so yeah, it's just, and that's the thing, man, is these guys today, the kids today get in the wrestling business, man. Back then, if you came in that locker room and you were disrespectful, you had somebody like me walk up and just show you exactly how tough you were not, But now, man, these guys come in, they walk in with their headphones on, they don't talk to nobody, they go right in over to the corner, start getting ready, don't speak to nobody, except for maybe the guys they're wrestling or whatever, but they don't, it's a different world, man. And if I'd have done that, man, I'd have had veterans walking over to me going, hey, man, we noticed, you didn't speak to nobody. You a superstar we don't know about or something? You famous? I mean, you think you better than us? I mean, I got my ass handed to me, I was trained better than that. But these guys now, man, they walk in, they don't speak to nobody. Like I said, Bob Orton, a man is a legend, and you don't walk by like you can't speak to the man. What these guys don't understand is, that man is the reason that you out there slapping your damn leg. Not that he would have done that, but he paved the road, man. He made the way. And I said, man, guys like him, or like we talking about Bob Cook, or, any of these guys, that came before me, man. I mean, my dad was tagging with Steve Austin way back in the day. Before he ever tagged with John Tatum, he was a tag team with Steve Austin. I call him Uncle Steve, but I mean, they had a run together forever. They were, California Studs, Rugged Rod and Stunning Steve,
Yeah.
And I think they did some stuff with Global. They did a bunch of stuff in Texas. And that was before he ever tagged with Tatum, and they had a long run together as a tag team. And, my pop went, go one way, Steve went to WCW, whatever, they split up. But, I mean, to me, I call him Uncle Steve, But, I mean, back then in the days, man, it was a different time, man. Somebody would have checked you. And now, there's more of the younger guys than there are the older guys. You know, I was kind of in a weird spot. You know, wasn't from my dad's time, but I damn sure didn't fit in with the new time. You know, and I'm older than the guys that are in their 20s now, but I'm not. You know, so I'm in a weird spot. You know, I was one of them guys. You know, that in that weird era because I didn't fit in. And I remember Jody down at Deep South. He said, "Brother, you got to try to fit in with these guys." I said, "Jody, I fucking hate them." You know, and Jody said, "I do too, but I got to work with them." You know, he said, "Man," he said, "You're an old school kid." He said, "You even though you're their age, you're more from my time. The way you think, the way you work, the way you wrestle, more from our time." I said, "Yeah." And Jody said, "But you got to learn to get along with these guys because they're what's now." He said, "The business, this is what it is." And he said, "You gotta change with it, or it'll pass you by." And I said, "Well, damn, Jody, maybe I've just got it." And Sarge used to always tell me, he said, "Brother, you got in 10 years too late. If you just started 10 years before," because I didn't fit in with the new breed. You know, I was too old school, right. But the old school regime was going out, and I was that weird hybrid that just didn't, the throwback guy. I never did fit in.
You were the in-between guy that just missed the generation.
Well, I was too young to have had the time that my dad had. I was too young to have the time,
right.
That my dad had, or those guys, or Arn or Rick, or guys back in the day. But my ways were definitely not like the damn Miz and fucking all that cornball bullshit. I mean, it was just, I was kind of that weird throwback guy, And the veterans love me. I mean, they love me to death because, I knew my history. I knew, and today these kids, I was at an opening of a wrestling school here in Georgia. And Ron Simmons was down there, and Teddy Long was down there, and I love Teddy. Let me go ahead I love Teddy Long. Man has done so much for me, And I was down there with Teddy and Ron and, some of the people, and everybody got to say a little, something, that Teddy, you go up there and say something to the kids, a grand opening, you say something, you say a few words. I said, okay, And I got up there, man, and I'm the hard ass, I ain't, and all those guys would tell them all about, unicorns and rainbows. I'm like, no, that shit ain't the way it is, I'm gonna shoot with you. And I get up there, Ron's standing next to me. And I said, all right, I got a question for you guys. I said, do a little history lesson here. I said, who was the first ever black world champion? And the room was dead silent. And I said, anybody got a guess? Anybody know? One kid raised his hand and said, The Rock. And and Ron, not even in gimmick, went, damn. I mean, they wouldn't even work in the gimmick, and he said it, And I said, no. I said, first of all, The Rock's half Samoan. No. And then some other kid said Mark Henry or I don't know, some shit. And I said, okay, right there, what y'all just did is burn a bridge. They said, what do you mean? I said, well, the first ever black world heavyweight champion is standing right next to me right here. His name's Ron Simmons. He just shook his head. I said, what you just did right now is made a horrible impression, your first impression. What you just did is got your ass put out the door. If Ron is one of the guys looking at you to get a job somewhere and they ask you a question and you say some shit like that, guess whose vote you ain't getting? You're done. And they were just like, yeah, and they're just like, they're like, oh, this and that. I said, you guys got to learn, just because you weren't alive back then don't mean that you don't know your history. I said, man, I can't tell you how many times I got over with the boys because I knew my damn history. We was years ago, Sarge was ribbing me. Back then I had black spiky hair and I had a blonde streak through it, before I started shaving my head, and I had the gimmick going on with the black hair spiked up real good, had like a blonde streak through it. And Larry Zbyszko's back there, and we're at the show, and Sarge is back there, and Larry said, what's up with the stripe in your hair? What is that? And Sarge, ribbing me, said, oh, that's his, Vanilla Ice stripe, and they all kind of laughed. And I said, no, Sarge, this is my Sputnik Monroe stripe. And Larry goes, how the hell do you know who that is? He's been dead longer than you've been alive. How the hell do you know who Sputnik Monroe, And Larry loved it. And from that point on, I was over with Larry, because I could talk to him. And Larry said, how do you know who that is? And I said, well, you know who my dad is. So I said, I've learned the business, man. And Larry's like, he said, really? And I said, yeah. I said, Larry, I can talk to you about Cowboy Frankie Lane, Dennis Condrey. He goes, how in the hell do you know who they are? He's like, shit, they were before my time. He just laughed and cut up with me, And I said, Larry, I learned my history, man. I cared enough about to learn the guys that came before me. He said, "You just dropped Dennis Condrey and Cowboy Frankie Lane in a sentence?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know." And he's just like, I said, "Delay, if you want me to," I can go all the way back to George Hackenschmidt. And he said, "Son, you are over with me." He said, "You are over with me." And from that point, I remember I was getting ready one night, and Larry walked up to me and said, "Get your gear, kid. Come with me." And I said, "Oh, okay." I picked up my gear because we was all back there. We had the locker room for the developmental guys and the lower card guy. And then you had like the Hulk Hogan that had his own dressing room. You had like different dressing rooms.
Right.
It was a pecking order, like you had different ones. And I damn sure went in the Hulk Hogan locker room. But Larry comes and gets me. He said, "Come in here with me, son." I walked in. I walked into this like damn. I'm like, "Oh, this is air conditioned. This goddamn furniture and a TV in here. Holy shit. VIP lounge." And I walk in, and I'm like, "Yeah." Larry's like, "Well, put your gear on, son." I said, "Well, what do you mean, Larry?" He said, "You're getting dressed in here with us." And I said, "Okay," And Scott Rickard and Steiner in there, Larry's in there, Jeff Farmer, which was the NWO Sting, he was in there, and I can't remember. I can't remember who all was in there, man. Like Glacier. I mean, there's a bunch of guys in there, man. And I'm in there, and I'm just a developmental kid, man. I'm getting dressed with these, top guys, man. And it was because, and Larry, they all said hate him or whatever. And I guess Larry had told them, "Hey, I'm inviting him in here." And Sarge come in there, and he's walking around talking to everybody. Sarge come in there. He sees me, and he said, "What the hell are you doing in here?" He said, "You better get your." Larry said, "No, Sarge, I told him to come in here." He said, "Oh, okay, Larry." He said, "No, Sarge, he's good. He's in here with us." He said, "You boys good with that?" And Steiner said, "Yeah, man, he's fine with us. Yeah, he can dress with us, whatever." And from that point on, I got dressed in a better locker room because I knew my damn history. Because I made an impression,
Wow.
And the guy said, "This guy has enough respect to learn about the guys that came before me." Larry's in there with Steiner. He's like, "Scotty, he knows who George Hackenschmidt is." Scott Steiner said, "What? How the hell you know?" And like, Larry put me over because they realized, okay, this guy knows his history. This guy, he's always respectful to everybody. 'Cause I see him in catering, and I walk up, "Mr. Steiner, how are you, sir?" And it's about respect, man. The first time I worked Scott Steiner, he beat the piss out of me in about 60 seconds. I didn't get nothing in, brother. He whipped my ass, And then the next time, and along about the, fourth and fifth match, I started taking it to his ass a little bit, and then we went from me getting my ass kicked in a minute to me and Steiner, on a damn dark match or a house show going 10 minutes and us going 50-50. Yeah, he got me in the end to whip my ass, but I held on for, 50% of that damn match, and it was about respect because the guys respected me because I earned it, and that's what the kids don't understand today. They think, you sign up for wrestling school. Oh, you're just one of us. Here's your membership card. You're a wrestler kid. Let's give you, the welcome basket. Bullshit,
Yeah.
Brother, they twin flies, and they think that, they think, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. That's, I get these kids all the time, I say wrestling. They ain't been working. They've been wrestling, for 2 years. And, I do the Ron Simmons, man. I stole it from him. I told Ron, I said, "I stole it from you, man." He said, I'm okay with that." They come to me like, "Yeah, when I get you to the ring, I'm going to do this." And I said, "No, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you for 15 minutes. That's what we're going to do." And they, somebody finally clues them in like, "What, was he serious?" And, "Yeah, he's real serious," and, they just don't understand, man. You're not, at this day, I've been doing this for, like I said, I've been going on 24 years. And if I walked into a locker room today with Bob Armstrong, I would never assume I was on his level, ever. Or Arn Anderson or any of them guys, because they've been doing it a hell of a lot longer than I have. They've been to the top of a mountain further than I have. They know more than I do, I've been doing it 24 years. Some guys been doing it 40. So it's just, it's a respect thing, man. And it's sad to say, it's a lot. The business has changed so much, and these guys are so disrespectful and so involved in their social media and this and that. They don't speak to nobody in the locker room, and it's because they were poorly trained. I guarantee you, a guy coming out of, Texas Wrestling Academy, Rudy Gonzalez, or coming out of Alex Porto's school or Rodney Mack's school at Hybrid, I guarantee you, them kids are going to be respectful because beat into them.
Right.
They're taught from day one the right way, and that's what it is. As you got, every damn strip mall has a wrestling school now, and 90% of them are bullshit.
I was so excited. A couple years ago, I was about as close as you could get for WWE. I think was it a house? Yeah, no, it was SmackDown. I think it was when Dean Malenko was working SmackDown, and my seats were right near production area, so I could look over and I could see Dean like 20 feet away from me on the other side of the barricade. Man, I'm like, this really sucks because he straight kayfabe the whole thing, man. He acknowledged me, he waved at me or whatever, but he would not come over and sign anything or take a picture, nothing. He did not leave the production area other than to go back in the back. I was like, damn it. I got these seats because I was hoping maybe I would get Dean Malenko for the once in my life. Nope.
Man, brother, he's old school. And that's the thing, man, is, you know, and what I hate is when fans come up to me because they've been on some kind of dirt sheet and be like, hey, man, I watched you work tonight. I thought you were shooting on the guy. What kind of angle are you on? I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And they go, what do you mean? You know, the angle you were working with that guy when you made your comeback. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, don't try to speak our language. You're not us. You're a fan. You don't, don't try to talk to me if you want to somebody in my sport. You know, sit in the seats, enjoy the show. We're going to put on a hell of a show for you. We're glad you're here, but don't act like you're one of us because you're not. You know, I don't care how many damn dirt sheets you read. Right. That's what I hate. I'm like, I said, first of all, you don't talk to me like you know about my sport. Oh, I know what a work is. And I said, well, hell, I don't. You know more. What do you mean work? You know, what the fuck does that mean? I work my ass off every night in that ring whipping somebody's ass. What do you mean? You know, and they try to, talk wrestling talk that they read on some damn internet dirt sheet. I'm like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? You know, I said, first of all, don't talk to me like you're somebody that's in my business because you're not in my business. You're a fan. You want to say, hey, man, how's it going? I loved your match. Way to go. Or, you was really whooping his ass or what? Great. We can jaw jack all day. Don't talk about, oh, that was a great work. And, man, you work really stiff. And I'm like, work? What do you mean I work stiff? I beat the piss out of people. That's what I do. You know, I mean, don't act like you know something. You know what I mean? And that's what pisses me off is these fans thinking, oh, we know what goes on. We know how you do it. We know how, because you watch it on TV, all of a sudden you're an expert in my business. I watch doctors on TV perform surgeries. I ain't about to try to get somebody hysterectomy. Damn, I mean, what the hell? You think because you read some shit on a dirt sheet or you watch it on TV, you understand how it works. I love these armchair quarterbacks, man. Oh, the reason he don't have a job there is this, and they fired him because he did this and he did that. I'm like, I'm sorry, was the last time you was in that damn locker room? Oh, that's right. You've never been in one. Don't try to act like you know what the hell is going on because you just make yourself look ignorant. And that's what I tell these guys, these super fans or smart marks, whatever you want to call them. I said, you try to impress us, the wrestlers, by speaking what you think is our language. And what that impression, what you think you're doing is making yourself sound really cool and educated, like we're going to welcome you into our circle. What we see is you being a complete dumbass. That's the way, it does not score you any points because you try to speak what you think is our language. What it does is make us look at you and go, who is this damn jabroni? Who's this damn idiot? It doesn't put you, here, let me put it with you. It don't put you over with us, kid. Let me give you another term. It's burying you since you know all the terms, it's mind blowing, man. It's just, just so much of it's just, and I see bits and pieces of it coming back. I mean, it's always, it can't ever go back to, people said, no, you can't go back to working a headlight for 20 minutes. The hell you can't. If you do it right, you can.
What?
And
why can't you?
Well, the while back when I did a show, a true story, I went out there and I went 45 minutes in a street fight with a guy. Okay, 45 minutes. And every chance I got, I grabbed him in a headlock and took him over and cranked on that head. Every chance I got. He'd do something, try to do something to me, and I'd counter. And somehow, I would always wind up back in a headlock. Okay? 45 minutes of him doing something, me doing, going for that, boom, back into a headlock takeover. The crowd started chanting Headlock City. Chanted it.
Wow.
Every time I grabbed back in a headlock, they would pop and go crazy. And we get out there, and the finish to the match. Yes, I called him in a pile driver. That's my, as the smart, my finisher, whatever you want to call it, man. The shit I do to get business done is what I call it. Hit that pay window. But, I slapped him in a pile driver, boom, hit him. And, at that point, he's out on his feet or whatever. And he's trying to stagger back because he don't know what planet he's on. He just dropped him on his head. And I grabbed him in a headlock and took him over and cranked on that thing so hard he tapped out. So a 45-minute street fight ended with the finish of what? A headlock.
Wow.
And the crowd went bananas. They went ape shit and was chanting Headlock City for 45 minutes. And I walked back there, and all these young guys, I said, who was it that said, nobody wants to see a headlock work for 20 minutes? Well, I just did it for 45 and finished the match with it. And they're out there chanting Headlock City. You tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just, don't tell me that, old school is dead, because it ain't, man. If you know out there and you know how to wrestle and you know what you're doing, and I made it a point. Every time he, got to move in, any chance I had to grab a hold of him, he got a headlock slapped on him, took over and cranked on it, and wound up finishing the match with it. Yeah, I gave him a pile driver before I finished him off with it. Point is, after he got dropped on his head, he was a damn, brains were so scrambled, and you grab that head and start shaking it around, you're going to tap. But he tapped to a headlock in a street fight. There you go. And
wow.
The promoter, I walked back there, the promoter just looked at me and he said, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. He said, if you'd have told me you were going to go out there and get him in a headlock for 45 minutes and that crowd was going to be on fire the way they were, I grabbed him and take him over there to Headlock City. I grab him in a headlock, take him over, boom, and flip him and let go of him. And I go to get him and they chant, one more time. I grab him, take him over again. They pop bigger and shit, a headlock. Yeah. That crowd ate it up for 45 minutes. So, tell me old school's dead. Bullshit, people want to see. That's it, man. People want to still see. Here's the thing: if you're, the age of 13 and under, you probably love sports entertainment. It's like the Cartoon Network. If you're over the age of 14, you want to watch wrestling. And that's just the way I look at it. That's my personal take on it. To me, WWE is a cartoon channel. That's what I equate it to when it comes to professional wrestling. That fake wrestling that the marks talk about. And there you go. There's your fake wrestling bullshit.
Yeah.
But you want to see, you watch New Japan and watch a guy like Minoru Suzuki. When he forearms somebody and the damn teeth fly out of their head, you go ahead and tell me how much of a work that is.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go to Japan one time years ago with WC. With who?
Have you ever worked overseas?
Yes, sir. I worked at I worked in Japan. When I was at WCW, they had a talent exchange. They brought some of their guys over, and we put some guys over there. And Sarge, got me in on that deal. And I went over to New Japan, and this is, we're going back, damn years ago, but I got to go over there and work, and I was over there for about 3 weeks, and I absolutely loved it, man. It was a great learning experience. And I got over there, man, and they said, we get in the dojo, and Muda was the guy back then over there. He was Muda was the king. He was the be all end all kingpin, And we went down to the dojo, and we said, get in here and work out with some of the young lions. I said, okay, we get in there. And, man, these kids were kicking. I thought they were trying to kill me, brother. You talking about laying it in. There wasn't no damn leg slapping. That was the sound of them bouncing their foot off my head, knocking me unconscious. And I'm in there with my partner, at the time, and his name was Omen. He was at WCW Developmental. He passed away some years ago, and I go on for the next 3 days about what an awesome guy he was. But we're down there, and I see his name, his real name is Troy. And I said, damn, Troy, these guys are trying to kill us. What are we going to do, And he said, well, the hell with that, brother. They want to go. We can go. And he said, we get back in there. He said, give it back to them. And I said, man, we in a damn foreign country, brother. You sure you I want to wind up in jail somewhere in Japan? He said, hell no, man. He said, they want to be man enough to start, trying to take our heads off. We're supposed to be just sparring. He said, take their heads off. Man, we hit that ring, and brother, you talk about shoot suplex after another, just boom, 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 just forearm in the mouth. I mean, we went in there tearing ass up, and Muda calls us over, man. After, the next day we show up at the dojo to, just, train and spar again. And Muda calls me, he said, excuse me, let me talk to you gentlemen. Yesterday, can you take it easy on the young lion, And my partner looked at Muda and he said, you tell young lion take it easy on us. Oh no, they know you shooter now. They know. I just laughed my ass off. Oh no, they know now. No, they know you shooter. They know. Just, and that's one of them things Sarge said, when you go over there, they're going to test you. They're going to see, if you really got what it takes, because they're different over there, brother. It's different, completely different thing,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
They will test you to see if you're, they will see if you're going to bitch out, And man, we go there to spar with these young lions, man, and they were just full on. I thought I was there with damn Bruce Lee that's kicking my ass so hard, And I'm over spitting blood. And I'm like, God, Jesus Christ, And I thought we were just sparring, and Troy's like, we give it back to him, man. We got in there, brother. We both, 250 or whatever, get in there, man. And we're just locking in, Greco-Roman throws, a suplex, and like I said, Muda next day, man. Oh no, they know now. You shooter, they know. No, it's good. It's okay. Today you just spar, And after that, brother, they lightened it. We went in there and sparred and lightened up, worked out together. And it was a good time, But you go down there, man. You go to Japan, they're going to test you, They're going to see what you're made of, and they're still like that. And that's why I love them. I mean, man, you watch the matches, brother, that ain't sports entertainment. That is wrestling, I mean, they got some guys who can do some high-flying stuff over there.
To watch is Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, my God, man. I watched the G1 gimmick they had here a while back. My God, I mean, just the talent, Kota Ibushi, Minoru Suzuki, Naito, those guys are amazing, and, I'm an old school guy, man. I mean, I was born and bred in it, whatever, and I'm going to say something now, and then some people agree with it, some don't. It's just my opinion. It don't really matter. And what's funny is I'm an old school guy. Like, I am totally old school, but in my opinion, the best active professional wrestler alive today is Kenny Omega. I'll say it, Kenny Omega.
Man, I was just going to ask you about him.
It don't get no better. I mean, the guy is laser point precise. He's got some of the most deadly knees the knees, he throws that running knee in the knees he does, and the elbows in the knees, and that snapdragon suplex. Kenny Omega is a badass. I mean, yeah, he can do a moonsault, and he can, do some, jumping and flipping and all that. But man, that kid can wrestle. My God, he can wrestle.
He makes his high fly moonsault, backflip, flippity flop moves mean something, and that's the difference.
Exactly. He does it when it makes sense. He does it when there's a reason to do it. He don't just out there doing a million damn acrobatic moves to show how agile he is. And man, and you talk about wrestling, he can go on the mat. That guy can wrestle. I mean, he can wrestle. Damn good,
And it's not a high spots display.
No, he's not a spot monkey, man. The guy goes out there and he wrestles his ass off, He can chain wrestle. He can Greco-Roman. He can, that dragon suplex, snap dragon he does is just, good God, how that don't put somebody out, I don't know. It's brutal, man. And those running knees he does and those knee strikes, man, I'm a Muay Thai guy and I'm a judo guy. And I mean, I do, the MMA style stuff. His knees are laser precise and he nails it every time. The kid is so good. I mean, that's what people like.
Did you see the lights out match last week with him and Moxley?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. I mean,
that was brutal.
That was hardcore done right. Once again, I'm very much a old school wrestling kind of purist guy. I love the original ECW. My dad worked for the original ECW. I have had the pleasure of having some matches with ECW, never under contract, none of that. But Paul E. paid me by the night. You know, if I did a match, Paulie would pay me, and I would go out there and, you know, wrestle some of their guys that they had in their school that Taz ran, the House of Hardcore, whatever, and wrestle their guys. But, yeah, I mean, that match was hardcore done right. I don't like a bunch of guys rolling around in broken glass, setting themselves on fire, a bunch of bullshit don't mean anything. But when you got guys like, you know, Dean Moxley or, you know, John Ambrose or whatever the hell you want to call it out there, you know, and you got Kenny Omega tearing down the house, man, and doing it right, brother. That was some straight up Japanese deathmatch shit right there. You know, I mean, that was, you know, I mean, when Kenny Omega's got stitches in his back and a black eye, and I mean, you know, okay, tell me how that's a work again. You know, explain to me how that's fake. You know, and the guy's got stitches down his back and a black eye, and you know, I keep calling him Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, whatever his gimmick is, man. That guy's out there, you know, with lacerations on his head. I mean, come on, man. You know, there's a difference, you know. So this, you know, bullshit WWE does this.
That razor board, I was just like cringing. I was like, oh my God.
Man, that mouse caps, all that stuff was old Mick Foley Japanese deathmatch stuff, you know. That was the real shit right there, man. That wouldn't, you know, I'm going to hit you with this and fake that. This, you know, when WWE does a street fight, and you're like, oh, dear God, how much more bullshit? You know, come on, man. And like I said, there's a difference. Sports entertainment and there's wrestling. That was I don't know, wrestling might be the word for it, but that was one hell of a hardcore match between, you know, Omega and Ambrose. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, that was, and like, you know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the acrobatic stuff. I'm more old school. You know, I'm a powerhouse guy, you know, but I watched the Lucha Brothers, you know, Pentagon and I forgot his brother's name, Ray Phoenix or whatever his name is.
Ray Phoenix,
My God. That's luchador done right. That's psychology luchador. That's, you know, that is high flying done the right way. You know, I mean, you know, and I told kids today
Pentagon was trained by, I believe, by Gangrel and Vampiro both.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who trained. I'm not sure. I know. I don't know. I asked Rudy, and he just said he knew him. Rudy Gonzalez. He said he knew him. He said he didn't train him, but he didn't say who trained him. Whoever trained him did one hell of a damn job. You know, whoever it is. You know, those guys are high flying done right. The same way when you know, if I'm at a school and I'm working with kids and I'm trying to teach the next generation, I said, man, if you want to learn how to do high flying right, don't watch this, you know, bullshit. You know, I said, watch the Rock and Roll Express. Watch Bobby Eaton. Watch Brian Pillman. If you want to learn how to do it right, watch these guys. They're the masters. You know, I was like, you know, this shit, you know, now. Yeah, they make it. I mean, it made sense, and it always got over, and the psychology was good. You know, you see these guys out there, you know, doing 18 back spring hand flip. You know, man, in a real fight, you do that, I'm gonna beat the piss out of you. I mean, that ain't real. You know what I mean? That just makes no sense. You know, but Robert and Ricky would do it right. You know, or the Lucha Brothers. I mean, I'm a mark for them, man. Shit, I love them. You know, I mean, they go out there, and the things they do make sense. There's a psychology. Their double moves ain't just a bunch of acrobatic bullshit. It's moves that go, damn, that was innovative. That was clever. That was, you know, that was using it to your advantage. You know, not this, you know, oh, I'm going to throw, you know, 26 kicks and slap my leg. I mean, dude, some guy kicks me and slaps his leg, dude, I'm just going to knock the piss out of him. I mean, I don't know what you expected to do by slapping your leg. You know, I mean, I remember watching, you know, my dad, when he worked for ECW, worked Tajiri. And, man, Tajiri would light you up, brother. This sounded like firecrackers going off. Tajiri never damn sure slapped his leg. You know, I mean, he kicked the piss. Moody didn't slap his leg. I mean, you know, Minoru Suzuki don't slap his leg. You know, and that's the thing is, that's the dumbest shit ever. Why would you do that? That just, I got to, you know, my little thing is say no to leg slaps. Kids just say no to leg slaps. I wear that shit on a T-shirt. I got gimmicks printed up with it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's the dumbest shit. I don't know who started that stupid shit. But, you know, it's just ridiculous, man. I mean, you know, if I'm going to punch you or kick you, why am I going to slap my damn leg, you know? It's just not, you know. And that's what I like about Kenny Omega. He runs and he throws that knee into your face. Ain't no leg slapping going on, brother. That's full on knee. You know, you know, that's you just got the shit knocked out of you, you know. But it's, you know, it's
Bob,
different, man. I'm hoping
Bob.
He may have raked our eyes a long time ago, man. He may just cut us off.
He probably fell asleep on us.
I think we probably went over time by about an hour. I think we probably, you know, he just.
Usually we only go about an hour or so because usually that's about all most people go. But you know, that's what.
Well, man, we on hour number 2. Yeah, I mean, I called you. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I called you at 7 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock now. We would go, but he done cut the plug, man. We've been off the air probably an hour. Man, well,
you know, it's funny because the last time I did a show by myself without Doug was a couple months ago. Was with Marcus Bagwell.
Yeah, I know Mark. I worked with him at WCW.
Yeah. We went about an hour, 45 minutes with him, and same thing, just telling stories, man, talking and, you know, laughing.
That's what it's all about, and that's what, you know, the kids are missing today, man. The thing is, man, it's back in my day and the days before me. You was in the car with 2 or 3 other guys, and there was no cell phones, there was no internet, there was no, you know, whatever. Your entertainment was talking to each other. And that's what you learned because you listened and you sat under the learning tree. And, you know, I'm going down the roads, man, and I'm in the car with Iron Sheik and Sarge and Larry Zbyszko, and I'm listening to and I'm learning, man. I'm learning so much. And, you know, they're telling me, you know, why would you do this? That don't make no damn sense. Do this. And I'm like, oh, damn, that does make, you know, you learn now kids get in the car together. And if they are.
They just had that night. And
if they get in the car now, these kids traveling together, number one, they're all the same age. They don't really travel with veterans like it used to be, you know. They're all the same age, whatever, and they all got on their headphones or earbuds, you know, they're on their Facebook or on the damn gimmick on the telephone, and there's no brotherhood, you know, there's no, you know, it's changed because, you know, Bradshaw and Ron were just talking about this the other day, and Teddy, because they used to travel together. There was no social media, dude. It was you talk to who you were with in the car, and that was what you did for 8, 12, 15 hours. You had guys to talk to, you know, 3 other guys to talk, and you know, and you talked about ideas in the business and matches and experiences, and you know, Ron would tell stories when he was in South Africa, or Bradshaw would talk about when he did this, or Shiki would talk about, you know, whatever, and you learn, man, and that's just today they don't do that. You know, there's no. You know, they're in the car, but they all got their face of the phone.
Give Shiki gimmick. Shiki want gimmick.
Oh, yeah, he's Shiki love a gimmick, brother. Man, I go another hour and a half talking about Shiki stories. Dear God, and that's, man, yeah, brother, I can tell you some stories. I got put with him, okay? They worked me when I was a kid, man. They got in there and, you know, started like, no, we're going to pair you up with a veteran so you can learn, and you're going to learn so much. We're going to, you know, put you with Iron Sheik and, you know, travel with him. And, man, you're going to learn so much, brother. You get such an education. They worked my ass because I was his fucking babysitters what it was. You know, they worked me. You know, and I did learn a lot. Don't get me wrong. Sheiky was very, you know, he did teach me. But, you know, it was more like, hey, look, let's rib the new kid and put Sheiky with him because none of them want to fuck with him, you know. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, man, brother. We better wrap it up, man. Like I said, he may have cut the plug on us, but I love doing these.
Bob,
please tell Doug when you.
Are we there?
I mean, he's gone, brother. I think he pulled the plug.
No,
he just took it home.
He's still there. Some of those.
Man, I don't hear him.
I don't know. He must have fell asleep at the keyboard listening to you telling stories.
He did. I bored him to death. He wouldn't.
No, he's probably in dealing with his mom.
Okay. Oh, man, shit, brother. It's 9 o'clock here, man. I got to take it home, man. I got.
Yeah.
early morning workout in, man. But yeah, man, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Hell, I could go on like this for 2 more days, man. I love the business, man. I love it. It's in my blood. I love it, and I'm real damn protective of it. And that's when I get guys walking up to me like Cowboy Bob Orton, the Road Warrior Animal, and they go up to the promoter I'm working for, and they say, "If you're gonna build your company, that's the guy you build it around right there." Bro, they don't get no better than that. When these guys, Bob Orton put me over like $1 million on his Instagram, Twitter, whatever he does. I don't really keep up with all that. And, but yeah, he said, something about, working in Atlanta, Georgia. And, he said, best young wrestler should aspire to be, the Outlaw, Brody, Manson, blah, blah, this guy is classic, like put me over like $1 million, man, and I was like, man, I was so humbled and, whatever. And, he came up to me, Animal walked up to me, said, "Hey, brother, you stole the show. You stole the show, brother." And I was like, holy shit, Ricky Morton was like, "Man, dude, I'm marking out for it. I loved it. I loved everything." When the guys like that walk up to you, man, guys that I grew up idolizing, and they tell you, the promoter, and the promoter told me, well, he told me, he said, I was on a show, and it was Tony Atlas, it was Road Warrior Animal, Ricky Morton, and God, somebody I can't remember all of them. That's just the ones I can think off the top of my head. I mean, I'm scrambled now, but I mean, like Bob Orton, all these guys were on the show, and at some point through the show, the promoter told me every single one of these guys walked up to him and said, "Hey, man, I love the way you run the show. Very professional, this and that. You got some good, look, I'll tell you right now, you need to build your company around Brody Manson." And man, brother, he told me, he said, every single one of those guys walked up and said, "There's your top guy right there." And man, you talk about, I didn't even know how to react. I mean, I damn near had tears in my eyes, I was just like,
wow.
I'm this kid, man, who grew up idolizing these guys and watching them, and watching my dad, and for them to say, Bob hugged me and said, "I know your father's very proud, just like I am of Randy." He said you went out there, and he said, "I know your dad is proud." He said, "I'm proud of you." And I was just like, wow, Animal, complimented me. Rick said, "But you have it. I don't know how Vince missed the boat on you." And I said, "Well, my last name is Price, brother. Well, I'm like, the heat is hereditary, We don't burn bridges, we nuke them, He just kind of laughed and said, "God, you are like your dad, And we had a good laugh about it. And I said, that's the thing, man. I was very fortunate, and I tell people all the time, I said, man, I had my run, I said, I'll keep doing it if I can't do it no more. But, I might not have been at the top of the mountain, but where I got to, the view was pretty damn good. I've been able to do this, shit for going on 24 years now, and still, draw a paycheck and everything else. I mean, no, it ain't WCW. I miss it like the son of a bitch. Let me tell you, I missed that. I ain't gonna lie to you, Jesus Christ, I miss that. But, the point is, man, I did enough, like I said, man, I'm still, going to do it till I can't do it no more, whatever I can. And, it provided me with, out of it all, man, I can say, I have made a living as a professional wrestler. How many guys can say that,
Right. Especially in this day and age.
Oh, yeah, no, man. Now it's a hot dog in a handshake. Well, it's because they got every kid out there that'll do it for free and kill themselves, light myself on fire and jump into some razors for free. Oh, I get a hot dog? Yeah, I'll do it, Do I get to go over? Do I get a belt? Okay, I'm like, damn, I said, this one kid, that's on this damn show. And this kid goes out there, man, and he's bleeding. I mean, brother, he's busted open from him. I mean, gushing blood and rolling around in barbed wire and thumbtacks and broken glass and all this horse shit. And he gets his little belt and he goes back there and he's acting like, man, he's just like, I walked up and I said, "You all right, kid?" And he's bleeding from his head. And he's like, yeah, I'll be okay, man. He said, "That's all that matters." He said, "But it's worth it, man. I got the belt." And I said, "You realize that's a damn replica belt, right?" I said, "You realize that's what I said. You realize that's a fucking replica, right? Do you see where it says WCW on there? Well, I've seen the real one, okay?" I said, "Kid, that is a WCW America, whatever the United States Championship title, and they got the WCW. They put the black electrical tape over it." I said, "Man, they blacked out the WCW fucking electrical tape." I said, "You do realize that ain't a real belt, right?" He said, what do you mean it's the hardcore champion belt? I said, that's a WCW. He said, but it's the hardcore championship belt here. And I said, kid, you're missing the point. I said, you went out there and killed yourself for no money, and you walk around like you just won the damn world heavyweight title, a universal title in WWF or whatever you want to call it. You got that replica belt with duct tape on it, kid. Like, you do realize that don't mean shit, right? I mean, but they believe in it, man. They'll drive around that son bitch on the dashboard of the car and wear it around in the mall. I've seen it happen, brother. It's I mean, Sheiky wears his belt in the mall, takes pictures for $5, but it's a real belt, He really won that damn thing, Oh, well, brother, man, I could talk to you all night, but I'm sure he may have fell asleep or raked our eyes or cut us off or whatever, man. But, I'm going to take it home, man. I love talking to you. Crickets. He's no selling it.
He's no selling it. Yeah.
Well, brother, it's been truly, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. My pleasure. And please tell Doug if he ever shows up again, MIA, that I appreciate it, man. And it's just always it's about the third or fourth one I've done, and I just I love it. It never gets old, man. It's been a pleasure talking with you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll
all right, man. Well, tell Doug, man, I'm happy to do it anytime, man. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guest, man. And, hell, brother, I'm about to hit this gimmick stick and take it home, brother.
All right. All
right, man. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you so much, sir. Good night.
You too. Thank you. Good night. Wow. What a great evening. What a hell of a show there. Wow. Logan Price, a.k.a. Brody Manson, the Outlaw. That was almost 2 hours of some experience and some knowledge and some history of what real wrestling is all about. Folks, if you're down there in the Atlanta, New Orleans area, you get a chance to go out and see Outlaw Brody Manson. You better go see him. Better go check him out because he's the real deal, and he's a real wrestler, just like his father. So with that, I'm gonna sign out of here. Bob, I hope you kill defeat eventually, because I'm out. Bob, are you there? Earth to Bob. All right. Well, I'm out. See you